Absolutely right. Let's get right to picks here. The Ravens are favored in this one by 4, and I'm going with the Ravens. Last year, Lamar had a tough game against them, threw 3 picks, took 5 sacks. I think he had a 35 QBR, which is doesn't sound like someone who eventually went on to win the MVP. So I feel like they're going to be able to attack this defense. They understand what they got last year. They see the way the Steelers are playing. They'll be able to mitigate that, throw the ball downfield, and get a W. What do you got, Cynthia?
Well, it's our first pick, so go ahead and light it up because this is one of my finest. I have a 2-point win. So I'm sitting in the middle of 2 amazing people. This is the middle of 2 amazing teams. 25-23 in this matchup for me. And I think you're totally right, Greg. It's all about those deep passes to exploit what potentially could happen in the Steelers secondary. So for me, just a 2-point win.
I love reading between the lines here. So when you go finest, but you're picking the Ravens to win, but it's a really close game. It's like you don't totally believe in the Ravens winning. I got the Steelers. I think maybe you'd like to go against your model this week if you're going finest. I just think the Steelers are more complete. I think they're set up perfectly to beat the blitz. They have all these great receivers who make plays after the catch. A lot of great games this week. What's next, Ricky? The Seahawks are favored by 3 in this game. I have the 49ers in an upset. They've played so well lately. I just think there's something special about this team. And like I said, I think they're more complete. I think George Kittle has a big-time game against these Seahawks linebackers.
When I look at this game, I still have the Seahawks in the model 28-24. Now, Jamal Adams is still on the injury report. However, it's looking more and more like he could potentially play. That would be a big factor for me in this one, just so you got to come back on Sunday to check up with us to see what we think. But it really comes down to the fact that Jimmy Garoppolo and those short passes, that is something like the Pete Carroll special in stopping. So that's one of those things where I'm a little concerned about that from the Niners perspective, and that's why the model is choosing Seattle and Mr. Unlimited.
You know what? I like it. Great job, Model, because I'm going with Mr. Unlimited myself. I think the fact that the 49ers run so much actually does help the Seahawks because the Seahawks can score at a high clip, and the 49ers is going to chip the clock away. And also, Russell Wilson, 3 picks last week against, being tricked by the defense. That's an anomaly. It doesn't happen, especially doesn't happen in back-to-back games. So I'm going with Mr. Unlimited, and I'm picking the Seahawks. But I'm going with the Rams. All right, I'm telling you right now, we're getting right to picks. Rams are favored by 3.5. Listen, my model will never let me pick a rookie quarterback in his debut in the middle of a season. Not happening. The Rams have been playing great football to date, and honestly, I mean, they don't have maybe the highest ceiling that I think in the NFC, but when you look at their foundation, it is probably one of the most consistently all-around better teams in the National Football League. Cynthia, what do you got for me?
So this is kind of surprising to me because the model actually picks the Dolphins by 1 point. The interesting part about this is the fact that this is not a normal season. There's no preseason footage of Tua. They are watching Alabama footage, which doesn't look like, look, Alabama is a wonderful program, but it's going to look a little different when you get to the NFL. So the kind of sneak attack, the ability to try some different things, that's what's really going to benefit them in this one. And that's why the model says, okay, we're going to see something weird. And that weirdness is going to give the edge to the people who are doing the weird things, meaning the new things, meaning Tua Tagovailoa.
Well, I have a coin flip game, but I did take the Rams to win by 1 point, 24-23. So, Hawk, we need this one because we're trailing Cynthia in the standings. And in a tough game with a coin flip, just pick the team that has Johnny Hekker. There's only one of those teams. It's the Rams.
Yep, the Browns are favored by 2.5 here, Greg. We got to get to some picks. You know what? I'm going with the Browns. And it's not just because it's a homer pick. I'm going with the Browns because, to your point, Greg, I think we're starting to see something out of them. I will say this is the week that you will get a true glimpse of what the 2020 Browns will be. I feel like this is the game. If they come out and get a W here, then I think everyone should feel safe about saying, yes, the Browns are a legit playoff team, and they are as talented as we thought coming in, and they're going to do some things that they haven't done in Cleveland in a long time. What do you guys, Cynthia?
Okay, so you and I, we go together on this one because I have a 1-point win in this one, 27-26. So you're not going to be able to get one of those little helmet, their little crown things up on me games on this one. I really think it's interesting for fantasy purposes. Rashad Higgins could be a good one. Rashard Higgins could be a good one. Or Donovan Peoples-Jones if you're looking for a nice fantasy wide receiver to help replace, not exactly replace, but you got to go look on the waiver wire somewhere, and one of those two could be available.
Cynthia trying to thread that needle again. I see what you're doing. I'm taking the Raiders to win this game. I'm going against the model, and I'm a little worried. I think Baker Mayfield will be fine, but I'm going to tell you who he really is, Hawk. He reminds me of Kirk Cousins. Like Kirk Cousins with a little bigger arm. Like that doesn't get me too excited in the morning. But you know what does is Cynthia doing the math. Right. The Bills are favored in this game by 4 points. I mean, this is their chance. You better win this game, Sean McDermott. I just feel like it's set up to go win the division. I have the Bills winning this game comfortably. If not, I mean, if you don't win a game where the Patriots' #1 receiver is Damiere Byrd and #2 is Gunnar Olszewski, #3 is Jacoby Myers, I mean, I don't know when you're going to beat the Patriots. This is the week, Bills fans.
Watch the opposite happen because we both have the same thing. 25-19 in this one. Bills Mafia, you can't come after me this week because I'm picking you yet again. The interesting part here, again, you don't have Julian Edelman. You might want to we'll go back to the last segment and go back and get one of the Rashard Higgins or, Donovan Peoples-Jones.
I'm going with the Bills, too, and that puts us on meme alert because we're all picking the same thing. And shout out to Gunnar Olszewski. I'm a fan of him. But, yeah, I'm going with the Bills. I just don't think the Patriots have enough firepower, and I think Sean McDermott will win this game and ascend to the proper place within the division. All right, let's get the picks here. Saints are favored by 4.5. I'm going with the Saints. Bears fans, stop tweeting me before the game telling me that I'm going to be so wrong. And then when you lose, I don't hear from you again until they get a W. I'm going with the Saints. I'm not picking on the Bears. I just think they're the better football team in this matchup. Is that so wrong, Cynthia?
No, I agree with you. I have 26-21. I learned what the word slump buster meant when I lived in Chicago, so that's just what was making me laugh so hard with my man Craig over there. I don't know if Allen Robinson's going to play, so if you are looking for a DraftKings potential situation or a daily fantasy potential situation, you could look at Darnell Mooney potentially could have a nice redeeming value for that.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Hawk, about Bears fans. They turn on their team fast, too, after one bad game. And I think this is going to be 2 bad games. I think the Saints win 26-16. Comfortable win. And shout out to everyone in New Orleans that's able to watch it after the hurricane this week. I know a lot of people struggling there, and we send our thoughts to them. What game is up next, Ricky? I don't think we're talking enough about Justin Herbert. We could do the whole show. He is the story of the season, and yet I'm not picking him this week. I'm taking the Broncos. I've never felt less confident in a pick than Broncos 27-26, but I do think that offensive talent for Denver will show up, and I think Chargers are going to Charger somehow. I was hoping, Cynthia, I know we lost you a little bit for part of this segment. I was hoping you wouldn't show back up because I'm guessing you're taking the Chargers here, and I'm worried you're going to catch up a game on me.
I mean, I'm definitely taking the Chargers here. I have 25-20, so a decently comfortable margin in this one. And here's your fun fact to tell your friends. This is the first time since 1971 that 3 rookie quarterbacks who were all drafted in the top 6 are starting in the same week. The last time that happened, one of those quarterbacks was Archie Manning. So there's your fun fact for the week. What do you have, Hawk?
Wow. Well, you know what? I may have teased it, but I'm not going against Herbert in this game. I think he's going to play lights out against this Broncos defense. I also want to have to give Burrow some love, too, because we give a lot of Herbert love. I feel like Burrow is up there with Herbert in the way he's been playing, too. But that's another topic for another time. Chargers win. Eagles are favored in this one by 9.5. Let's get right to picks here. Time for the quick picks. I am going with the Eagles, man. I think Carson Wentz showed a lot late in that last game, and I feel like he's starting to get over the hump. Obviously, the Cowboys are a great team to continue that trend against, especially the way the Cowboys have been playing, and I don't feel anywhere near the same sentiment around the Cowboys' offensive line. Cynthia, what do you got?
Well, light this one up because this is one of my finest as well. I have a 26-15 win for the Eagles in this matchup, and I have Carson Wentz passing for more than 246 yards. Why? Because since week 4, he's averaging 256, and of course that is when Travis Fulgham made his season debut.
I have a very similar score. The Eagles winning comfortably. Hawk mentioned getting over the hump. I mean, the Cowboys are the hump. That's all they are right now. And the Eagles are getting healthier. Lane Johnson, Jason Peters, Malik Jackson, Jalen Reagor, they're all potentially coming back for this game. So that's great news for the Eagles. Next up, the Packers and the Vikings. Another good division matchup. Usually But this year, it doesn't look so good. The Packers are favored by 6. If we've learned anything about the Packers this year, it's that they can beat up on bad defenses. The Vikings waved the white flag, really, when they traded Yannick Ngakoue. Their cornerbacks are injured. I think the Packers win very easily. What about you, Cynthia?
Same. I have 31-23 in favor of the Pack in this one. I have Justin Jefferson getting more than 67 receiving yards. He's on pace for 8 games with 100+. That would break Odell Beckham Jr.'s Super Bowl era record with 7 games as a rookie. So that's interesting for me. I think you should absolutely be playing kind of everyone in this Green Bay offense. And one note here, Aaron Jones is again not playing, so you need to plan accordingly if you have him in fantasy.
Love the Jefferson shout-out, man. He's been balling and doesn't honestly get enough national love for what he's been doing. But I'm going with the Packers because they got back on the wagon last week, and I think they're for real. I mean, I know they had the down week against the Buccaneers, but when you're watching their offense, they still are clicking the way that we've seen early on in the season. I think LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers are really on the same page. And to you guys' point, no Yannick Ngakoue. I think it continues this week. All right, next up, we got the Colts at the Lions. The Colts are favored in this one by 3. Now, my pick here, Cynthia, we're on the same page because you're a Lions fan, right? I'm going with the Lions. The Lions have actually done really good against the run in the last couple of weeks against Jacksonville, against Atlanta. If they can do that against the Colts, they have a real shot here, Cynthia. What do you got?
My preference is to pick against the Lions, but the model is not letting me do that yet again.
Wow.
This means 24-23. This is one of my finest because the margin is so interesting in this one. The Lions and DeAndre Swift, this is going to be a game where he's going to have at least 46 rushing yards. He's been playing really excellent, and really he's getting that volume. Now, the pick here is because Phillip Rivers in the passing game, that's a weakness, and the Lions have somehow been more efficient against that in recent weeks. What do you have, Greg?
I mean, you're giving me the other side of the Lions. I will take it. I got the Colts winning by 6. The Lions have looked better since they came back from their bye, but this is absolutely a spite pick because the Lions, I went against them last week. They killed me. Cynthia, caught up a couple games because of that. Forget that. Let's ride with Phillip Rivers. Let's ride with Darius Leonard. He's back on the field. He is so important to that defense. So I do like the Colts to win, and I'm a little spiteful. Let's go to our next game. It's Titans-Bengals. Titans are favored by 6 on the road. I have the Bengals keeping it close in this game, just a 3-point win for the Titans because Joe Burrow, as I mentioned, him and T. Higgins, they're playing better. If the last time you watched them was that Thursday night game against the Browns, they get better each and every week. This is actually looking like an offense that has a great future. Zach Taylor, their coach, he's the Bill Belichick of losing close games. So I think he's going to do it once again this week. Cynthia, what do you got?
I've got 30-23 in favor of the Titans. My problem is the Joe Mixon list factor, and I'm totally with you that when you look to see what Joe Burrow's doing, it's been great, and I like him. But Ryan Tannehill has been excellent, and he's going to pass for at least 268 yards in this matchup. I mean, I could tell you a lot of different things, but 10-plus air yards this season, 3rd highest completion percentage on such passes, 61%. It's going to be a nice day for him.
Yeah, I mean, my heart almost made me pick the Bengals here because the Bengals, just as an organization, has typically played well against the Titans. But no, Joe Mixon, I couldn't really do it. So I got to go with the Titans and the Vrabel squad. I think they get the W. All right, next up, we have the the Jets at the Chiefs. The line is 19.5. They're favored by 19.5 points. I'm going with the Chiefs. We can keep this pretty quick. I think we all pretty are aligned here. What do you guys think here?
I, too, have the Chiefs 35-15 in this matchup. And by the way, you could look at rookie LaMichael Pirine if you're looking for a running back replacement in fantasy, as he could be available and could have some value here because the Chiefs do give up a bunch of rushing yards.
Yeah, I have the Chiefs 34-11. We could talk about Sam Darnold versus Spagnuolo, but let's forget this game and get to what I like to call the sombrero game. It is Buccaneers versus the Giants. The Buccaneers are favored by 10.5, and if you didn't watch last week, Cynthia tried to come at me out of nowhere, threatened me, challenged me on what I called my pick of the year, which was the Buccaneers winning comfortably against the Raiders. I said, I'm sticking to it. I'm not worried. The loser wins a sombrero, wears a sombrero. We see who lost, Cynthia.
I have a huge head because, let me be honest, this thing's not really fitting on my giant head. So I don't even know how awesome this sombrero is. I'm really glad to wear it, and I always pay off all of my, situations when we do this. So let's do it all the time, but it's kind of painful on my head. So I'm just going to tell you
it is like going out of the screen.
Sometimes
Bucks are going to win this game comfortably. I'm not going against them all year. If they're going to serve me up a sombrero on Cynthia's head, they deserve my loyalty. 35-17. What do you got, Cynthia?
I have 29-18. It's very painful, but we got it. There we go.
Come on, Hawk.
Hawk, what do you have?
This is ridiculous. I'm sorry. I'm losing focus. She's wearing a sombrero. It's Halloween. I'm going with the Bucks, too. I think the Bucks win easy. They're on a roll. Might be the most talented football team in the NFL. We're back with more Game Day View in just a moment. Ricky, what we got?